It's the end of my freshman year, guys. You know what that means? It's time to drop out of college and become a SoundCloud rapper. No, it's the end of my freshman year. This is my first year in college. This is more candid talk because, you know, I'm trying to be candid with you guys. What advice am I giving to freshman students, right? I think it would have been a good idea for me to like reach out to friends and like ask them, hey, what do you think that like, what do you think you would have done better this year? But I think they would have just said something along the lines of use more ChatGPT. I'm just joking. I have academically honest friends. There's a host of things that I think I would have done differently, done better. You should talk to a lot of people in your freshman year, not just the first semester, because I think people are good at that in the first semester, but then it falls off in the second semester. Both semesters, I think you should be reaching out to as many people as possible. And that obviously doesn't end with sophomore year. I would never want it to end with sophomore year, but I think it's definitely something that you have to make a concerted effort to do because people close off, I think, a lot more. And obviously, I imagine that's going to progress into the sophomore year, junior year, when people find their cliques and whatnot, find the group of people that they want to spend their college experience with. So I think now is the best time to, get active, get going. Another thing I would say is don't drink. There's no need. Don't be pressured into doing things like drinking and smoking. It's lame. It's stupid. You go to college and you pay them money to get a degree. There's plenty of time. The thing is, after 21, there's plenty of time to become an alcoholic, like meth head. You literally have your whole life in front of you. Like there's like decades and decades of alcoholism and Narcotics Anonymous waiting for you. You should just put it off until you get your bachelor's. Again, you're paying for the degree. I don't know why you'd be coming to class getting wasted. Obviously, what I'm saying doesn't apply to business majors, communications majors, psychology majors. But the rest of y'all, you really, if you're an engineer, what are you doing getting high before your calc midterm? So don't use substances. You can do them under your parents' roof. Don't do them now. They don't add anything. They don't make life more worth living. You have plenty of fun doing plenty of things. Another thing I don't think that the freshman 15 is a real thing. Maybe Ozempic got rid of that. I don't know. What you do want to watch out for is just the sort of food that you're eating, because people are eating like, and I think it's shortening their lifespan. In particular, the energy drinks, they will get you. They will get you. I'm watching them develop cirrhosis right in front of me. It's actually frightening. It might be worse than the alcohol, but you're not gonna have to really worry about gaining weight. Frankly, you might lose weight because if you are a freshman, you're probably living on campus, and so you're getting a lot of movement in that you otherwise wouldn't. And that also, I guess, necessitates the fact that you go outside, and so this one's obvious, go outside. I'm sure that your campus has plenty to offer unless you go to the University of Arizona, in which case, your university offers you vent heads and, tweakers. So maybe don't see what it has to offer, maybe stay inside. But if you go to literally any other academic institution, you should go outside. You should see what the school has to offer for you. There's plenty of food spots, there's plenty of art, music, comedy. Another thing I would tell you is you should never feel stuck. Most schools, especially big state schools, just in general school that gets a lot of funding from the government, they offer a wide variety of stuff, resources. You should look into interdisciplinary studies. Maybe you want to do one particular thing, maybe you just want to be an engineer, but there's so many different types of engineering. There's so many programs that are at crossroads. So you can do engineering and something in the liberal arts as well. You can do like political science and then also like chemistry. I'm not even being like a hippie yuppie when I say this, but college is literally like the time where you can figure out anything, discover all sorts of things about yourself in a lot of different ways. But academically speaking, I know when I came into school, I wanted to be a pre-med student. I think I still do, but that has definitely changed a lot because I also discovered that I have a really big interest in the liberal arts, in writing, in politics and government. And so I definitely think that it's essential that you take that time to go join things that maybe you aren't fully sure, maybe you think you don't have the skills for, but just jump in there if you just feel like you're interested in it, because you're going to get those skills just from putting yourself into those uncomfortable environments. I guarantee you that. You also make friendships, you also make connections, and it's cool. So in an intelligent way, I think you should definitely explore your interests in college. Another thing I would say in college is don't plagiarize. I'm not going to implicate myself in anything I ever did in high school, but I'll tell you this, it's a whole different ballgame. I know you may be thinking,
well, yeah, but like I plagiarized in high school.
High school's not High school is varsity. You're in the Olympics right now. And I'm not even joking when I say they take you to court. They take you to court in college. They will take you to court if they think they plagiarized, and you have to get a lawyer, you have to prove it. And if you can't prove it, they're going to expel you. They're not going to give you a refund, they're going to expel you. They're going to put an XE on your transcript and you're going to say, okay, I'll just go to another college. The colleges aren't going to take you. They won't take you. It'll ruin your life. Like, I feel like not enough people understand this, and you may also say,
well, yeah, but like professors, they usually don't go that crazy.
Some of them do. You don't want to be that one person. The thing is with high school, like legally you have to go to high school. So the worst that can happen, they catch you cheating, they expel you, somebody else has to take you in the district. Like, it's illegal. So it's never that serious if you cheat in high school. Don't do it, but it's never that serious. When it comes to ChatGPT, dude, let me tell you this right now. I see a lot of discourse about the use of ChatGPT in school, in college specifically. And the reasoning is quite sound in my opinion. If you're getting a degree, if you're paying for a degree, why would you give ChatGPT the degree? Also, a lot of people raise concerns about the fact that, oh, you're training like the AI model to take your job. I'm not too sure about the veracity of that claim, but it sounds quite plausible, especially when we know, like, obviously they're taking your data, they're keeping your data, and they're training the model with other people's data. They're trading, obviously, AI artists with other people's art. So I don't think that it's outside the realm of possibility that if you are, for example, asking ChatGPT to write essays, it's definitely taking in that information so that it can take your fucking job. And we're seeing that more and more. Independent contractors or whatever, writers and things like that. And even, people in STEM are being replaced. Like, I don't think, like I said, I'm a pre-med student. I honestly think if we're on this path of use of AI, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that a lot of medical jobs will probably be replaced by AI to the greatest extent possible, because, insurance companies are hellish, and people will say, and I will say even, that there's plenty of stuff that is assigned to you in college that has nothing to do with what you're trying to learn. Busy work, right? Obviously there's plenty of electives that don't have anything to do with your major that you have to take, and so your reasoning may be, well, yeah, let me just use AI for this elective here and there. My thing is, barring any type of morals, let's be serious, 19-year-olds don't have morals. Barring any type of ethical concern, you will cook your ass if they find out. Professors, they're getting on this shit in real time. Like, you would think they're all old as fuck, they, you know what I mean, they don't know how to use the internet, and they don't, but at the same time, this is something that, like, universities as a collective are trying to figure out in real time, and obviously they pass that information down, they pass those resources down to high schools and middle schools and everything like that. So at some point, I think we will also have, very robust ways of detecting AI generated content. And another thing too is, a lot of professors will say, okay, if you didn't do this thing with AI, then show me the Google Doc, show me the Word doc, and then you're cooked, because obviously if you use ChatGPT, you're copying and pasting shit. Not to mention a bunch of other, like, geeky tech shit that professors will do. At the end of the day, if you're in a bind, like if you're in a cinch, maybe just go back to old school paying somebody to write your paper for you. But I'm lazy as shit and I would never recommend it. The thing I would recommend though is you should really take advantage, significantly abuse your free amenities at your university. If you're paying for the shit, use it. If you are shelling out, again, thousands and thousands of dollars, use everything that is accessible to you, and there is so much. Technically you pay for your meal plans, but you can abuse those. You can really abuse those, especially those dining hall systems with the buffets. Like, dude, I'm telling you, one swipe can last you like 2 or 3 days. Like, make it work. Not to mention the gyms, not to mention student discounts, not to mention those university currency systems. But yeah, you need to absolutely get your money's worth. Like, I will never understand personally people who finish the year and they've just taken advantage of nothing. It's crazy. Like, you need to research different ways to scam back your university. Oh, let's talk about high school to college relationships. This applies if you're somebody like me, or just someone in general who is going to a university in the same state or near the same state, or you're just going to a university that's very, very popular amongst people in your high school, and you know a bunch of people from your high school that are going to be at the same university as you, that's nice, but I'm telling you, it should be a last resort. If you're a high school student or high school senior, don't think long and hard about, oh, am I going to be able to dorm with my best friend, that shit's gonna crumble. I'm sorry, it's gonna fail. If you have a relationship in high school, that shit's might work out, it might. Past freshman year, I'm not even talking long term. Long term, you're cooked. But I'm saying, even in the short term, it might not even work out. And so, don't make crazy life decisions based on that. Never go to a university just because your friend's going there, just because your current partner is going there. Never make drastic class course load decisions over a friend or anything. This is a very tumultuous period in life. You guys are gonna go separate ways entirely after you graduate. In all likelihood, you're gonna go into separate fields. It's possible, again, it's possible you'll be best buddies for life. I've heard of that happening, but it's incredibly rare. And what I feel is actually even more common is you have a crazy crash out, falling out, burnout, because you're like Tom Hanks in that one movie. We're like the castaways, and so we're like this. We came from the high school. We're basically brothers for life right now. And so you're my lifeline in this incredible sea of college students. I'm just gonna take on whatever sort of issues I have with you that are simmering at the bottom, and I'm not gonna really engage with them until it gets way too far, at which point the relationship is in no way savable. So you just end up really crashing the fuck out because neither of you are willing to discuss your problems, because you want to keep everything peachy keen because you care about this relationship so much, because you're too afraid of going out there and making better friends in college. I'm telling you, with the diversity of the student population in a college, you're gonna make so much better friends once you step out of that tiny high school bubble. A lot of people you're friends with in high school are literally just because of forced proximity. There's no such thing like that really in college. So if you make friends in college, it's just going to almost purely be vibe space because you genuinely vibe with those people. Another thing I would say is don't go crazy. This is kind of related to my drug thing. Don't go crazy. Just because you're outside of the watchful eye of your parents, it doesn't mean you should just rebel, go crazy, go stupid, especially if you're moving out of state. Because I think a lot of people, especially if they grew up under a very maybe conservative, or maybe they grew in a very absent family actually, or a dynamic where your parents really never gave a shit to begin with, and you're like, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna do all this fucking insane stuff. I'm just gonna let you know now that's like a terrible idea, and there's no reason in screwing over your life and making crazy terrible decisions for your life to get back at people that aren't gonna live your life. You shouldn't make choices in any regard, you know what I mean, to kind of stick it to another person. That makes no sense. I'm not gonna get a huge tiger tattoo all over my shoulder because my mom yelled at me. Like, that doesn't really make any sense. Another thing I will say is this: if you fuck up your choice in college, there's always transferring. If you really hate where you are right now and you really regret it, don't waste another 2-3 years or maybe more of your life in a place you hate. Another thing is you have to consider the fact that where you go to college is most likely going to be the same place where you start working. So if you hate where you live and you can't imagine living there long term, you either have to suck it up, or what I would recommend is transfer. Leave, go to a different school. It's really not that serious. Your credits will, a lot of them, if not all of them, will transfer. Whatever reason you're chasing, like, I don't know, prestige or different program or whatever, you don't have to take any crazy abuse or mishandling. You don't have to take a lack of services in your particular major for the rest of your degree. Just go somewhere else. If you hate the weather, leave. Another thing is do your course evaluation. At the end of the year, you're going to be asked to do a course evaluation. Do those, and more importantly, do the Rate My Professor. If you don't do your Rate My Professor after the end of a semester, especially if you have a hard class, okay, I'm looking at all the people that refused to review my OChem professor, so she had a 4.5, a fucking 4.5 on Rate My Professor, and then I take her, and as soon as I take her, it all of a sudden, it drops at the end of the semester to a 2.1. Don't gatekeep the professor, okay, don't wait for, you'll figure it out. Dude, what? Do the evaluations. Please. Get a job in college. You need a job. Please, for the love of God, do not go to college and get a degree and leave and then be one of those people on TikTok complaining that they can't get a job. Obviously, I know the job market is cooked. I'm not talking about the people who did an internship and they went to the job fairs and they still can't get a job, because there's also plenty of those people out there. I'm not saying there isn't. What I am saying though is your resume is probably straight out of high school gonna look like dog water because you just got your license and all those sorts of things, and I get that. But get a job, get any type of job, okay, and work your way up. Get jobs as much as possible as you possibly can that are related to your degree in some shape or form, or are just some type of academic. So if you want to change courses, you can. You need an internship, an unpaid internship. You need some type of job. Okay, try to get the best job, best internship you can. There's probably plenty available to your university. Get a job. You need a job. Holy shit, you need a job. You need hobbies. You need hobbies you can write down and talk about in an interview and things like that. Oh my God, the amount of people who don't have hobbies in college, they can't talk about, oh, I like to draw. Oh, I like to skate. Oh, I like to play chess. Oh, I like to code. Something like, I like to sleep. If you are one of those people in college or in high school, I just like to sleep, you are going to be so fucking unemployed, dude. I'm sorry. Like, you need to know how to have fun and unwind without doing drugs or taking yourself out of yourself. Go do something, build a skill. College is like 50% academics, 50% skill based. You need to build skills. You probably should get a LinkedIn. Please don't go liking or following everyone you know on LinkedIn. It's kind of weird. Another thing I will say is be mindful of your internet presence when you're in college. Be mindful, obviously, of the current political state. Be mindful of the fact that people are looking, people are always watching what you post. At least at my university, there was a club. What was it called? Mecca? I think it was, Mecca, that Hispanic heritage group. And they posted something about the Israel-Palestine conflict. And listen, we all have our convictions, we all have our beliefs, and I think that it's perfectly fine in college to do political activism. But what I will say is be mindful of your language, be mindful of the diverse population that is on your campus and how your words can be perceived. These people posted a story or a post of some nature that said, kill all settlers. Kill all settlers in reference to, of course, the Israeli settlers in the West Bank. I really don't have to tell you what happened to the group. I really don't have to tell you what happened to the leaders of that group. Be mindful of what you post. Be mindful of who you hang out with. Be mindful of what you're doing in your spare time. It's not even in terms of like going out and getting drunk and getting lit, but even if it's a concerted political effort, you should be careful about the rhetoric that the groups you're surrounding yourself with espouse, and you should be careful about the rhetoric that you use or the people around you use when referencing certain political movements. Okay, I'm not saying you shouldn't be a part of these movements. You should speak your mind. You should speak about the things you care about. Whether or not I agree with them has nothing to do with that. That's what the First Amendment's for. That's what bastions of freedom of speech are for, like college campuses. But that is also to say, on a college campus, you need to use academic language. Using this crazy charged language that is very common in the media landscape is not going to keep you on campus for long, especially at other certain universities, right? Tying on to that is when it comes to your academic writing, because inevitably, irrespective of what class you're in, you're going to have to be in some type of class that requires you to write about politics, write about current events, write about history, write about your personal views and principles, or analyze some other literature thingy that necessitates you giving your take on certain things. Look at me, I'm clearly a Muslim person, I am clearly a person of color. You have to be mindful of those things, and you have to be mindful of what you're sharing, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, whether you are black, white, brown, Hispanic, whether you are conservative, liberal. Irrespective, you should not bring, just like in high school, you should not bring your personal beliefs about things, your personal political, specific beliefs into your writing, into your seminars, into your discussions with other people. It's just not professional. Time and place, like I said, there's nothing wrong with talking about your political beliefs in the appropriate setting. Your papers are not that setting. Your seminar discussions are not that setting. I do not want to hear you evangelicalize or preach to me about anything at all. It's inappropriate. I do not want to know how you feel about transgender people. I do not want to know how you feel about abortion. there's almost never, like there's some classes where that's appropriate. Obviously, you'd know which ones those are. But if we are talking about Toni Morrison, okay, obviously it's appropriate in that time to talk about the, racial issues in America. It's not an appropriate time, I'm sorry, to talk about the Buddha or Jesus Christ or Moses. I'm sorry, it's not. It's really not. Okay, it's not the time for me to pop open a Quran and start teaching you about the word of our creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not the time, right? It's just not. And again, you can have your beliefs, but you have to be respectful about them. You can't be sort of implicitly biased against people as well. Okay, you shouldn't be pointing and laughing at people. Again, you got a lot of people that are moving from like a rural area, a middle of nowhere, hillbillies, and they're coming to urban areas where these universities are typically held, and you're discovering a whole group of people you may have never encountered in your whole entire life. You gotta be normal. I'm sorry, you have to be normal. You have to be really normal about it. I'm sorry. There's plenty of people I see on campus and I think, oh, you're doing something weird. You're strange. You're not gonna bring that up. You're not gonna come to campus and just make people feel unwelcome. I think people have, at least I definitely had a really bad spending problem this year, freshman year, just because you're just surrounded by opportunities to spend money. So you should really be mindful of that. You should really budget. You should keep in mind very closely how much money you have for frivolous activities and act accordingly. What else is there? What else could there possibly be? What else could there possibly be? Oh my god, professor relationships. Develop a great relationship with your professor. Manipulate them as much as you possibly can because you are a psychopath. You are locked the fuck in. You are Christian Bateman. Christian Bale? Patrick Bateman. I am not saying that you shouldn't actually vibe with your professor, and if you don't like your professor, you shouldn't pretend to like them. That's scary. But you should try the best you can. Again, professors are normal people a lot of the time. Like, some of them are more chill than high school teachers. Develop relationships with your professor the best you can, with the most normal, nice professors you have, and it can lead you to a lot of different places. Professors, they may have a lab open, they may have research they're doing, a lot of different things that they can open doors to you that are going to be very, very useful for your career. So never sleep on professors at all. They can write you letters of recommendation, which is especially pertinent if you are a, law student, or you're a pre-med student, or you're just looking towards some type of graduate school. It is absolutely essential that every year, I'm not even joking, every year, maybe even every semester, you have one or two professors that can vouch for you. They can talk about how good of a student that you are. Inevitably, they're going to be professors. Maybe you're taking an online class, or maybe they're just a dipshit. Like, they're just not going to know or care about you, but you should just try as best you can. Utilize office hours. When I tell you no one goes to professor office hours, I'm only slightly exaggerating. And some professors are kind of weird. They like want to talk to you, which is weird. Like, I don't mean it in like a creepy way, but I mean like literally, like they like talking to their students. Personally, if I was a professor, I would not talk to my students, but oh, sororities and fraternities. I can't really comment on that because I'm not in those. And I think that actually is the comment itself. It's not necessary. It's not remotely necessary. I made plenty of friends this year without being in a sorority or fraternity. In my opinion, honestly, it's a little bit harmful actually, because I know a lot of people who joined a sorority or fraternity and it ended up being really damaging for them because they felt peer pressured into doing a bunch of sorts of things that they otherwise wouldn't be in support of. I think when you're in that sort of tribe culture, it causes you to treat people in a way you ordinarily wouldn't. Obviously that hive mind that gets you to act in all sorts of ways. You think of like Bama Rush talk, for example, like a bunch of girls dressing up in ways that they probably wouldn't like to if they had their choice to express themselves in their own particular stylistic preference. So yeah, like that's not even remotely a necessity unless you're going to like Ole Miss or something. I go to the party school of the century and I've never felt the need to join a sorority or fraternity. Granted, I'm not quite the target demographic, but I've still never felt like I was missing out at all. Especially if it's expensive, that's silly. Don't do it. Don't feel bad about being a commuter. That's another thing. Personally, this semester I was a commuter. Miss out on a lot of things, so I think you should probably, if it's feasible, you should probably live on campus. But you should know if you're somebody who's commuting, or you go to a community college, which I'll speak on in a bit, just know that you're still gonna have plenty of opportunities to have fun, and you're probably just gonna make friends with a bunch of commuters. Like, it's never the end all be all. Like, I know they'll tell you, hey, you have to come, you have to stay on camp, you have to live on campus, or you're actually gonna blow your brains out. It's never that serious. I'm sorry, it's never that serious. Community colleges, there are gonna be plenty of you who are going to community college for a number of reasons. Maybe you're someone like me, so you wanna go to community college and then transfer. I didn't go to community college, but I mean, you may also be thinking about transferring after high school, so maybe you wanna go CC and then, you know, or maybe you're just your average non-traditional student, so you're not going in straight after high school, you took a gap year and then you went to community college. Whatever your reason might be, maybe you're first gen, whatever it is, you should know that you are, like, I'm not even saying this to be condescending, although I'm sure certainly many people do. You're really making a smart choice. Like, I'm not even, you may ask, well, then why are you not going to community college? Well, because I think I was in a particular situation where I was getting a lot of financial aid to come to my 4-year school, so it just made sense. But if that wasn't the case, if I was about to attend a school that wasn't so generous with their aid, I absolutely would have gone to community college, because I think it makes the most sense, frankly, straight out of high school, if you are trying to avoid spending a whole bunch of money, because transferring is so slept on. I will stand by that. Like, I know you're not getting, for 1 or maybe 2 years, you're not getting that drink. I'm telling you right now, it's so much more worth it when it comes to your pocket and how much money you're going to be making straight out. You're still going to have the same degree as other people if you transfer, but you're spending so much less money, and it's not like you can't make friends at community college. That's hardly the case. So definitely take advantage of that. That is pretty much it. I'm just gonna say the other things that probably your mother would say.
Like, stay safe, stay protected. Don't go walking around at night without like a friend or something that's kind of stupid, like at all, like anywhere, like even where you would think would be safe, like a residential complex or anything like that. You should always like be on your guard, because people is freaks.
And yeah, those are Honda's tips for having a great freshman year and a solid first year college experience.